Hello, Global Pet Expo. How are you? I am so happy to be here. It's Lynn Switanowski, day 2. I hope you all got a chance to watch our session yesterday. Time to adapt or die. We talked about, I know it sounds rushed. It sounds subtle, not subtle. How about that? But I needed to get your attention. I wanted to stop and make sure that you heard. So we talked about marketing yesterday. Today, we're going to spend 40 minutes together talking about from scrambling to planning and beyond, planning and preparing for what comes next. And I say that to you because we all lived through a year like no other, right? And the key is we learned lessons, both good and bad, and ways that our business responded and ways that our business should have responded. So we're going to figure out how to make a more permanent process to put in place for your pet business to plan in advance, so that, not that we want to repeat what happened last year, but some other business interruption comes along. How have you planned so that your execution can be much simpler and that it doesn't cause the disruption that COVID caused last year? Many of you we've been together for a long time. If you don't know me, my name is Lynn Switanowski, founder and creator of Creative Business Consulting Group. We also own Pet Retail Helper, and we help pet businesses grow. Simply put, I am here to talk about strategy today, to talk about marketing, to talk about business planning. I am your pet business cheerleader. We can help you thrive and grow in 2021 and beyond. So let's talk about the past year. Not that we want to relive it, but I want to focus on it from the perspective of what happened. And what happened with you is one thing. What happened in the store, right? And what happened with your customers is another. And that's the key focus that I want you to think about. Did your shopping model work when COVID hit last year? We all had a front door. We all had product on our shelves. People came in, lots of customers at one time. They bought it, they left, they had a good experience, and they came back, hopefully. That's what used to happen. All of a sudden, complete disruption. Front door might not have closed because we were essential businesses. How many people in the store at one time? Product availability, another, challenge, right? As the pipeline was empty. How did we survive that? How did we negotiate that? What did customers want to buy from us? How did they want to buy from us? Were you prepared for the alternate shopping methods? Essentially, the word that I use here, traditional consumer drivers, traditional ways that the customer journey was fulfilled in a brick and mortar store came to a crashing halt. The question is, how quickly did you adapt? What did you learn from your customers in 2020? How did they want to be dealt with? How did they want to feel? Did they want you to comfort them? Were they scared? Were they scared for their pets? Absolutely. Were they leaning on you because they were nervous they were not going to get the supplies they needed? Absolutely. Did their methods of shopping change? And did they change permanently? Some things that maybe you offered or some things they got from other people were really good, and they loved them. And now there is a convenience factor that they no longer want to live without. In essence, are you prepared to connect differently now? Did you do it out of necessity in 2020? And then do you want to go back to old ways of being when in fact your customers don't want to? I don't love to give you a ton of, book statistics here, but 60% of customers loved the new flexible shopping methods, new ways of connecting. And the question that I want to talk to you about for your pet business is, are you going to make any of these new patterns permanent? Any of these new ways permanent? Or are you thinking you want to go back to the way that it was? What is driving the digital consumer today versus the traditional consumer of last year? Knowledge. How do they get knowledge? It's not always face-to-face in store with a lot of customers, right? We have to limit the number of people in stores. We can't have big sales. We can't have a lot of events and learnings that we used to, at least in the store, but we still need knowledge. How do you personalize an interaction with a customer when you don't necessarily get to see them face-to-face? Customers had to learn to be self-sufficient. That doesn't mean they don't want information and learn, but maybe they bought it online. Maybe they had to pick up curbside. How did that affect the relationship that you have with them? How quickly can you get products and services to them, right? And obviously, where does influence matter? The thing that the satisfaction piece of yesterday is a physical, I loved your store. I love being here. Thanks, John. Thanks, Lynn, for helping me. And now that influence is with a review on social media. I love this pet store. They're so knowledgeable. They brought the order out to my car. They delivered it to my front door. I bought it online and it was ready to pick up when I, at the curbside. All of this done via an online review. Influence matters. It may not be face-to-face, but the digital consumer says, I want retailers, brands to interact differently. And if you think about your business for last year and think about the year before and think about all the prior years, our model was upended, caused major disruption, and the consumer loved it. I sat last year physically in Orlando and did a session talking to you and asking you kindly, of course, with my smile and my charm, hopefully, that said, please think about doing ways differently. Your consumer is looking for new ways of connecting with you. Your consumer needs different ways of buying products from you. You don't need to be an e-commerce store, but think about alternative channels of distribution. Literally, that's what I said in February of 2020. COVID hit, the world changed, and now customers can't live without it. Now they recognize that a convenience factor from a retailer isn't just that your front door is open. It's that you deliver those products right to my curbside, put them right in my trunk, that you deliver them right to my front door, that I can buy them online, pick them up in store, that I can text you and my order will be ready when I get there. So I don't even have to spend 3 minutes in the store. A good interaction is 30 seconds, I'm in and out. I roll to a stop, trunk gets open, stuff goes in, and I leave, right? A year ago, I was asking you to think about it. Today, I'm sitting here telling you it's one of the new rules of doing business. So what I want to talk to you about today is integrating all the lessons we've learned from the business interruption, but understanding that there's ways that we can prepare and adapt to future business potential, not future. I don't want to plan for, gosh forbid, another year like we've had, but I want you to think about potential business disruption in a way that says, I can be flexible, my business can be nimble, we can adapt. In fact, that we have a new way of thinking. That's really what I want to talk to you about today. Instead of saying, is the sky blue in your world? I want the sky always to be blue. I always want you to have lots of different ways of thinking about things. I would love for you to embrace future innovation as an everyday occurrence. Instead of just accepting the norm, how do you plan for flexibility? So I want to talk to you about it in 3 different ways here today. 1, top line impact. How can you create flexibility with your business processes that will optimize the performance of your business and that, frankly, will lead to more profit? And that's really here. Obviously, top line sales are critical, but if it takes time and energy and all of this money and you do all of this work and it doesn't lead to an impact on your bottom line, then why do it? Mostly right in the middle, which is really important. I know you all care about customer service. I want you to think about enhanced customer service at all times. And I know that you care what your customers think about your business, but what sometimes gets forgotten is how your consumers' needs have changes. This last year example that I just talked about, right? Where do I buy? How do I buy? No touch payment. We didn't spend much time other than me asking you kindly and giving you ideas like, hey, did you know you can use Apple Pay and you don't have to touch you can just tap your credit card, or you can pay with Apple Pay phone to phone. That was my crazy wishful thinking on your part. Now people don't want to use cash because they don't want to touch anything, right? That's a changing consumer need that's led to a new method. And how do you engage customers with more methods like that in your business? And then thirdly, of course, when you're doing an assessment and creating flexibility and putting in new systems and processes, can I do it better, smarter, faster? And therefore use technology to maximize efficiency. So we're going to look at this in 3 different ways, and what I call planning for the future today. And if I could get you to, and I'm going to spend a little bit of time here because I know that all of you have most of you here, I should say, not all, but all have a brick and mortar business. However, I am asking you to absolutely shift the paradigm, change or reimagine your customer's physical experience in your store, right? You've already done it. Like this is my prompt here for, touchless payment, right? Don't touch me, I won't touch you. How do I reorganize my store so that there's physical distance between people? Maybe I've got plexiglass up now. Maybe I need to create a space for more pickup orders. Maybe that's the back door, right? This buy online, pickup in store. Maybe it's the front door with a fixture, a bunch of shelves that has a bunch of pickup orders so the customer can come in, show their proof of purchase, and walk out quickly, like we talked about before. Do you have that? Do you have self-checkout? Do you have expanded e-commerce, social commerce? If you joined us yesterday, we talked about selling on Instagram. Is that a viable option for your store? Have you enacted some of that in the past year? Again, lots of different ideas for in-store pickup, for delivering to customers, for curbside, for buy online, pickup in store. Your front door, I swear I didn't plan all of this, but I remember last February saying, imagine if your front door closed. And everybody in the room kind of laughed and said, never gonna happen, she's crazy. Your front door closed. Yes, it reopened quickly because you're essential, but in essence, your customers had an aversion to coming in your front door. So it happened. Were you prepared? All of these ways can help you prepare for the future. Other ways, right? I love this concept, right? Your fresh products, and I call that your treat bar, right? How can you reimagine your treat bar? Instead of everything be open and everybody breathing on it, can you close your treat bar? I love this one. It's got it's functional pull, right? And again, what you're doing, maybe you use covers that are clear. Maybe it makes it a little bit simpler. But the idea of creating, reimagining what is open, what kind of products are open, how your customers have access to those products in your store. Do you still need, for customer peace of mind, do you still need PPE? Do you still need masks? Do you offer gloves? We wouldn't have thought ever that, a mask would be something that we would see every single day. We see it all the time. We go to the grocery store now, and we see plastic gloves, and that doesn't shock us when we, to touch the fruit. Is that something maybe that you could offer, or that you've started to offer? Again, the physical experience that customers have is more than just walking in the front door. It's within the walls, it's up and down the aisles, it's the front of the store, it's the checkout, it's the cashier, right? We've done a lot of things differently. Some of them are really good, and some of them should stick. And we should be prepared for how quickly we can adapt that. One of, I mentioned earlier, the additional service options, right? Home delivery. You know, do you have enough home deliveries? Do you partner with a florist? Do you partner with somebody else that delivers in town and create a really fun delivery tool? Have you added what I call convenience-based subscription services? Obviously, we know subscription services exist in the pet business, but you know your customers need certain things from you every week, every month. Have you created fun subscription services? Customers love your business. They want to come in, but maybe they want to come in less, and maybe that's okay. And if so, create a subscription service for a monthly food service. And if they want to come in and pick it up in person, great. If not, they know it's coming, right? Private delivery service. I was just dealing with a client yesterday, and they have, for an additional $20, they will deliver it within the hour. And what that is they have a sales associate get in the car. It's got to be within, I think, a 15-mile radius. And for $20 extra, they will deliver it. And for some customers who money isn't an object, who it's a premium service, they're perfectly content with that. So again, would you learn about your customers? What kind of physical interactions do you need to have with them? How do you plan for the future? Let's talk about anticipating changing consumer wants, desires with products. Have you added new products? I just did an analysis for one of my clients last week actually, and we have sold 15% more puppy food in the last 365 days, hence cute puppy picture in this presentation. But why I bring that up is, have you looked at it? Have you sold more puppy food? Are you just replenishing the food that you're selling? That means you're selling and replenishing puppy food. Okay, probably same trend exists. A lot of COVID puppies out there. When are you going to turn the corner to those puppies getting older and moving off of puppy food, and now you need to get them a brand? You were with our session yesterday, you know, we talked about content marketing. When do you switch a puppy? How do you teach people how to manage their puppies? When do you move from puppy food to regular food? How do you transition? And from this perspective, how do you reassess the products you're carrying now? You don't need to get rid of puppy food. What you need to understand is those puppies are now a year old, so I might sell less puppy food. I need to move into more early stage food. That's reassessing your product assortment. Well-being mattered for people, you and I, over the last year. Well-being matters for pets more than it ever has. Some statistic I read yesterday as I was preparing for this final, presentation was talking about the fact that functional treats, i.e. mobility, weight, allergy, dental, sales are up 60%. It's not enough to get a good tasting peanut butter, liver treat anymore. Now these treats are functional. So do you carry more functional treats? As people worry more about themselves, their health and well-being, now they worry about their pets' health and well-being. Have you added more treats, more other products that service pet well-being? How do you talk about that? Where do you position it in the store, right? How do you anticipate for your customers what they should care about? That's really what we're talking about, planning for the future today. Your job is to help your customers reimagine, reassess, anticipate what's next. We've been in this phase, we're moving into this phase, and therefore, this is what you need to buy. What do you need to do in this reassess your product phase? How much you carry, how many shelves are dedicated to it, how many products you have in the assortment, is to understand who makes the best of the best. Maybe you're at a trade show. You should absolutely be looking for new products that meet consumer needs. Go look at the new products that are, the vendors that have new products at the show in a new light. What are the trends that I'm seeing here? What are these new products servicing? Do I need to add them? Do I want to add them to my product assortment? Maybe the answer is I have enough, but I want to test them in the future. So what you should be doing at this trade show, is getting access to learning about new brands that are out there, understanding, starting the dialogue now. That's you anticipating that you may want to do some things in the in the new coming months. Demand may change. How do I plan for demand? How do I negotiate with my vendors that say, hey, I'm going to want to ramp up this category? I looked at my selling, and by the way, this category is up 30%. I want to add more space in my store to it. Therefore, I'm going to need some more support. I need marketing support. I'd love to talk about, pricing, and let's talk about you doing some demos, whether that's on Zoom or whether that's live. All of these conversations that I'm asking you to think about now is anticipating demand, anticipating. And I know in some way you do it, but in a lot of ways you just reorder and replenish what you sold last week. That's just your easy, go to. Now I'm asking you to say very specifically, should I add brands? Should I delete brands from my assortment? Source now for potential future needs, because these are the trends. So pay attention to the trends that that are coming down the road, and anticipate how that's going to affect your business and how you can plan for that. I would suggest to you, much like the physical reimagining of your business, asking you to think more strategically in the long term about health and safety as an advantage for your business. We have been through a traumatic experience, and customers are not going to some of them will come back running and screaming and can't wait to be in the same way that they've always been with you. Others will be walking slowly before they fully embrace that. If you make health and safety as an advantage, an ongoing advantage, and I don't mean to, put the word COVID-19 front and center here, but I think it's a good thing that we'll be able to say, we're thinking about you. We're always worried about your customer. I know that your store is clean, but maybe it's long-term, I'm going to have sanitizers available. Maybe it's that I'm going to showcase, that the store has been cleaned on a regular basis. Maybe it's going to be that I showcase to my customers that I've added an air filter, like that, recirculates, that cleans the air. So customers are going to be thinking about health and safety. How can you anticipate what that means? And some of that may come with a cost. So why I'm asking you to think about that here is, how much is that going to cost? Where do I need to do, how do I need to layer those costs in? Yeah, I picked up sales. Maybe I made some more money last year just because people were buying from me in more depth. Maybe I met more customers. How do I reallocate those resources effectively by adding products, by adding health and safety components to my store in the long term? How will that help me in the future? So we talked about physicality of the store. We talked about products, right? Now the next thing that we have to do, some of us were caught short, right? It was, we have a cash flow. Maybe we run it tight. Maybe we've had too much inventory for a very long time, and that's been okay. And then we got to, when the world stopped in March, and all of a sudden we got caught short because we sold products and we didn't have enough to replenish them, or we needed more money to do projects, to do health and safety projects. You need to manage your cash flow as a process. And I mean, you need to look at it weekly, you need to look at it monthly, you need to prepare in advance for the fluctuation of what that looks like. And, the hand to mouth way of doing things has to be, changed, because what might happen again could be a horrible death knell to your business. And I don't want that to be the case. I know you all really work hard in your businesses. And I know I've heard from many of you over the years, I just don't have enough money to add a new salesperson. I don't have enough money to do, the new POS system. Now you're asking me to, to make product, or assortment changes, or to change my physical, space in some way. And those things cost. But what you can do is start by saying, here's the things I need to do. Here's the things that will help my customers the most. How much is that going to cost? Where do I need to allocate funding? How do I need to do things smarter, faster, better to allocate some cash? This same client I was telling you about, we did this puppy analysis. I mean, we did a deep dive on his dry dog food, which for many of you is your number, if you're a traditional brick and mortar store, is your #1 sales category, and came to find out that, you know, we're sitting with product in the bottom 20% of our inventory that has 0 sales, 0 to 1 unit sales a month. And if we were to reallocate that, get rid of that inventory, reallocate it into other top sellers, reallocate those, you know, liquidate it, maybe get whatever you can for it, and reallocate the money into other things, our business would be better off than dead stock sitting on your shelf. So that could be one way that you free up some cash to do some of these projects. But I'm bringing it up from the perspective of it takes you thinking about cash flow on a consistent basis in order to even have that conversation. Where is my cash tied up? How am I using it? Anticipating my expenses in advance and then planning for it so that you're never caught short, I should say. And using cash as a negotiating tool with my vendors. Maybe it will help me. Maybe I can get better pricing. Maybe I can get better terms. Using cash flow as a strategic advantage. And then we get to what I'm going to call the biggest eye opener, I think, in the business disruption phase. I've heard from so many of you that said, I have employees that I love who were not equipped to meet the needs of the business situation that happened. They are wonderful. They know the pet stores. However, I needed them to be more tech savvy. I needed them to be more flexible. I needed them to know how to run the cash register, to look up inventory, to answer questions, you know, for customers in a different way. And it doesn't mean that your sales associates are bad. It means that the world has gotten more sophisticated. Your consumers have gotten more sophisticated. And what that means is your salespeople need to be, in some way, when I say more sophisticated, they need to be better prepared. And that's the key in the lesson here. They need to be better prepared for whatever might come to them in the future. And your job is going to be to train, to hire, and maintain that staff that meets your future needs. I'll give you one example. I talk a lot, maybe some of you were at my session. I said yesterday we talked about marketing. One of the key sales roles for a retailer today that I believe is out there is what I'm calling a digital sales person. And that person is actually responsible for driving the connection between what's posted on your social media, so your Instagram page, your Facebook page, your Instagram stories, your YouTube page, and helping convert those leads into sales. That your content is so good, you're asking questions, you're delivering information, your customers are asking, do you have this? Can I get this, right? That the person is responsible for the link between my digital footprint and sales. As opposed to, and I'm not telling you that that you're an e-commerce business, right? You're a brick and mortar business who has a presence online digitally with your social media content, and that this person's job is not to stand behind the cash register sort of passively waiting for the next customer to come to the cash register. They are actively out there communicating, engaging, whether it's putting content out on, actually creating the content for social media, or they're responding to customers' requests, comments, answering, sending customers text proactively. Hey, this is new, we have this in. Do you want me to ship it to you? Do you want to stop by? That's a new role, right? And that's a very different role, like I said, and hiring that person is very different than hiring a cashier who's going to ring the cash register for you on, Thursday nights, Saturday, and Sunday. You may not be prepared for that, but trust me when I tell you that it's another channel. You think of your social media as store two. If you have one location, think of your social media as a chance to sell to somebody 24/7, right? And having this connection as a salesperson who's proactive, who's making connections, who's selling, is a really good use of, a salesperson instead of, like I said, just waiting for someone to come in. So that's one possible way of rethinking, reimagining, rehiring, or hiring someone for the next phase, right? Your human capital. And I know that you all know that your employees are the lifeblood of your business. What do they need to do? You know what I mean? What skill sets do the people that have been there for a very long time need to be more effective in 2021 and beyond? If the answer is that you have an app, for the store, you have a loyalty program, you've got all these great tools that are usable on a text, or you've got a inventory lookup system, you've got a great inventory that's live that somebody can walk around the store with a tablet and check somebody out in the middle of the aisle. They have a virtual checkout tool. They have, an Apple Pay, station. They can just tap anywhere in the store, and you've got associates who are scared of anything other than a cash register. How do we ease them into this? How do we teach them? And then how do we make sure that the next person we hire when we need to has the skill sets and the capability? What are your new training processes? What do we need to do to get these customers, aligned? How do we get sales associates, I should say, aligned with your customers? I talked earlier about your physical experience with your customers. Who do we hire? Do we need to hire somebody because we have so many curbside pickup orders, so many buy online, pick up in store orders that we need to fulfill? Do we need to hire somebody to manage that process for us because the bags are 28 pounds or 40 pounds, and therefore they need to go to someone's door, so we need somebody that can carry that much because our current staff can't carry them? How do we realign that? How do we realign that process? When are we most busy, right? So therefore, maybe we need a 3-hour person, or a 5-hour person on Saturday, because that's when we do a lot of our curbside pickup or our delivery. So again, thinking about a highly flexible workforce. What do I need them to do? Not just one task. Many, many stores got caught short during COVID because it was okay to be not flexible in the past. 2021 and beyond, that doesn't work anymore. We must have flexibility. We must have employees that understand how to do multiple tasks. And also, if you think about what our skills the customers need to have, how many employees we need to have, how we ramp them up, and how we scale them back, right? We have two ways of looking. If you look at the workforce chart here, it used to be that we hired a full-time staff and they worked 5 days a week, and that was the best use of our, because it was easier for us. Maybe the answer today is that we need more part-timers because one is going to be our runner, taking orders out, doing our deliveries. This digital salesperson, we're going to start with a part-time person and then have them, deliver enough sales value that we add them to full-time. Because what happens is you run an event, a big sale 2-3 times a year, and we've got full-time staff all year long because on these particular days, we need this many people running the cash registers. That may not be the case. Maybe there'll be less physical people coming in now, and we need more back of the house people to help load stuff into a car, to help, what do you call it? Like I said, deliver goods. So thinking about when you need staff, what they need to do, how they need to match customer needs is going to be critical. I'm telling you now to anticipate Don't know where you're located, what state, what country, but if you're in the US, certainly Canada has already moved there with a, minimum wage that may be very different than what you pay now. In order to get, sales associates, you're going to have to step up and you may have to pay people more. But that doesn't mean you can't make money in your business. I am not a proponent of that. There are things you have to look at and do. So what are your long-term expenses? What kind of flexibility do you need your staff to have so that you can prepare for the future? This last piece I want to talk about is this efficiency enhancement. And I know, again, this is just going to be a list and I want you to use it as a resource. What I need you to think about is increased efficiency as a mindset across your entire business. And by a mindset, I mean, where can I be more efficient by using an app, by using a cloud-based service, by using technology, that my business can get better just because I'm using different tools, whether that's in my marketing and my marketing efficiency, how I create content for my marketing, how I schedule my marketing, how I look at my analytics, how I do reviews, whether that's software, whether I design my content differently, whether I make videos differently. All of my marketing that I'm asking you to improve on can be done more efficiently by using some of this software and services. Some of it's free, some of it's paid, but your mindset about efficiency is what I'm asking you to change. Do I need freelancers? You don't have to have somebody on staff to do everything. Can I use a virtual assistant? Can I, use a bookkeeper that may not be within the organization? That's perfectly fine. Use a lawyer that doesn't sit there. Maybe you need a freelance marketer. Maybe you need freelance services for, accounting, payroll. I use a payroll service. It's so simple. I have a mobile app. I can do it from the car. That's not maybe for everybody, but the idea that I could have a cloud-based service and be flexible and use it in a bunch of different places at a bunch of different times. And maybe you don't want to be the graphic designer. Maybe you're not great at it. I'm not asking you to, but can you find a freelancer on Fiverr or on Elance to help you create unbelievably good-looking graphics, social media content? Absolutely. You need some? Text me, email me after this. I've got some great tools and great people already in my queue that I'm happy to share with you. But a mindset of efficiency is the future. And I'm not asking you to make changes just for change's sake. I'm telling you that your expenses may change. The employees that you need, you may have to pay them more. You may have to ask them to do different things. You have to think about within the walls of your business, how do I create a flexible environment all the time? And increased efficiency using technology will be a really good tool to help you do that. So I've asked you to think about a lot of things differently. I've asked you to, rethink your mind, anticipate for the future. Here's the bottom line. Think for tomorrow, right? Create a strategy that's built around maximum agility. How does my business need to change? The world got crazy. How did you fare? If you got caught, you were flat-footed and you were playing catch up for a very long time, let that be your wake-up call. Create multiple scenarios to implement, brainstorm new ideas, new ways of thinking, right? The speed of change, all the stuff I talked about today won't happen tomorrow. Some of it exists already. Some of it could exist in your business tomorrow if you were ready to implement it. But what's your time frame? Go back and say, what do I really need to look at? Where were my biggest problems? Where can I make the biggest impact? Could be biggest impact with money, saving money. What do I need? Maybe that's why you want to, implement some things first. How do I reprioritize based on the market? Something may happen tomorrow that you say, hey, I need to change this because the market demand. I leave you with this last thing. Prioritize good over perfect and now over later. Every day, every month that you wait, some other one of your competitors is doing it faster, smarter, better. And they are going to capture your market share. And that means you're going to be even more disadvantaged. So You need to commit to making the changes. You need to be there. And there are certainly ways that we can help. There's help out there. Email me, text me, call me, tweet me. We're a retail helper. We can help you do this. But please understand that the market is moving. You've seen warp speed in the last 365 days. It's going to get bigger from here. It's going to get faster from here. And your customers aren't going back. So let's anticipate what they want next. Let's give it to them, and let's all celebrate the successes we're going to have because of it. So I'm here. It was great talking to you today. I can't wait to see how you're going to plan in the future, and let me know how we can help. Take care, everybody. Have a great day.